Hello and welcome to Me, the Wife and Wrexham AFC.
A weekly podcast and YouTube channel where we discuss all things Wrexham AFC from the point of view of long-term fans and new fans.
So sit back, put your feet up, relax and let's get stuck in. Hello and welcome to episode 139 of Me, the Wife and Wrexham AFC. So this week we're going to talk about the Vertu Trophy semi-final against Peterborough, the League One match against Bolton, which took place on Saturday lunchtime. A bit of a weird week for me to be a Wrexham fan because I sort of felt disappointed and then at the same time not so disappointed.
About Tuesday's game?
Wednesday. We're not starting this all over again like we did last week, but
yeah. Last week's game.
Yeah, no, both. I think both. We'll talk about them both in a bit more depth. But I sort of felt disappointed and not all rolled into one. It was a bit of a strange feeling, I think. But yeah, we'll come on to that. A bit of news coming out of the club as well, and we're also going to look ahead to our games with Huddersfield and Rotherham.
2 league games, yeah.
Getting busy now. We're right at the business end. I think we've got 13 games left, which
6 at home.
Oh, now you're testing me now. I'm not 100% sure how many's at home and how many's away, but yeah, we're right at the you feel like you had loads of time.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden it's like you're right at the end. Maybe that's a metaphor for life, eh? You feel like you've got all the time in the world and then before you know it you're drawing your pension.
I think after Christmas, we're in March now.
Yeah.
And it doesn't feel like 10 minutes ago that it was
Christmas, yeah.
It goes quick.
It does.
God, we sound so old.
I know we do.
Time goes so quick.
Yeah, you kids enjoy it. But yeah, no, it's we're right there now, and you sort of go, oh, there's loads of football left to play until the end of the season, and then in 2 weeks when we do this show, we will literally be in single figures for games left in the season. That's mad.
Depressing.
That is mad. So episode 141, we'll be sitting here talking about only having 9 games left in the season, which is absolutely crazy. A little bit of news. So the new cop designs are included on the Wrexham County Borough Council Planning Committee agenda. That's a mouthful, isn't it? For the meeting on Monday, today, when this podcast
they would have already had the meeting.
Would have already had the meeting, March the 3rd, and they have actually been recommended for approval.
Good.
Yeah, feels like it's taken a long time to get to this point. And I think when something is recommended for approval, generally, barring any sort of calamity, it gets approved. Once that's done, you can then look at starting to plan actually getting it built.
Yes.
I feel a bit excited now. We're sort of at this point. Hopefully we're doing this next week and we're talking about it has been approved.
And they're going to be starting building on such and such a day.
Yeah, so last game of the season is the 3rd of May. Mm-hmm. And that's away. So, potentially you'd like to think when we're playing our last game of the season away at Lincoln.
As soon as everyone leaves, that's it. They're knocking down everything.
They've already started maybe dismantling the temp cop.
I think they'll leave it till the last game. The last game, not the last game of the season, the last home game.
Oh, yeah, I mean, when we're playing away, though.
Yeah.
I don't see, unless there's any plans for anything during May, not Wrexham related. So if there's any games or anything where they need to stand, not that I'm aware of. But I think once that starts coming down, that temp stand, that's when you sort of get the butterflies of going, it's happening. It's actually happening. Because I think we've had a couple of false dawns, really, with this, haven't we? Where we sort of go, it should have been built by now. We should have been 6 months into actually using
it.
this new cop. With the new designs that have sort of come out, I'm sort of glad that we didn't sort of plough ahead and we've gone a slightly different route, and it has taken a little bit
plough
long.
ahead because it hadn't been approved. So that
no.
would have been illegal, Ryan.
No, but there was issues, wasn't there, with
Sewage and
all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
So I'm starting to feel excited. I do feel a little bit sorry for all of the people who have got into a routine of getting
Temp
tickets
cop.
in the temp
My
cop.
dad being one of those people.
Your dad is one of them, and he sort of had quite a while of being able to get tickets and go into games and go in regularly, and that will just stop now. Because for all of them people who are sort of used to sitting there.
Well, should have got a season ticket when you asked him, shouldn't they?
Well,
Dad,
is
you'll
that.
never listen, will you?
No.
Never listen.
No. But there we go. So I do feel a little bit sorry for them. But we're going to have something bigger and better. And
I was actually talking to a lad in work, and he also sits in the Macron stand at the moment. He's got a season ticket in the Macron stand. Your friend Rob.
Yes.
Yeah. He said to me, we were talking about the new stand and all that kind of stuff, and he said that he probably will keep his season ticket in the Macron stand, but if there's any like cup games like the Vertu Trophy and all that kind of sitting there to kind of get that perspective, and I think that would probably a good idea. I think I would like to do that. I think just so you can say, I've sat you because obviously you've sat in every single stand.
Numerous times, obviously, and
whereas I've only sat in Macron and the Tech End.
Yeah.
Or the Cop, as my mum and dad keep calling it, really irritates me. That I don't know why they keep calling it, but I know if my dad's watching this, he'll come back and he'll put a list of things why it's called the Cop.
Yeah.
Please don't. You've already done that.
Yeah.
So I think that's a really good idea.
Yeah. Because I agree with that. Yeah.
Because I've been behind the goal, obviously, in the Tech End, but I don't know why I'm doing that, but I've never been on the other end.
Yes.
So it would be nice to, kind of experience that, and it's going to look lush when it's done.
I'm going to be honest. I have obviously stood in the Cop numerous times over the years, but it's so long ago since I did that.
You can't remember.
I don't really remember the perspective of standing there.
When did it get condemned?
20... don't know, over 10 years ago.
It's mad that, isn't it?
Yeah, I don't know what, but we're at 2025 now, so 10, 12, 15, I don't know.
It's sad that it's taken these new owners, Rob and Ryan, to actually...
It's all about money, though. You don't have money, and if you haven't got money, you can't really berate sort of like anything that's come before for not doing it without having the money to do it, sort of thing. So.
Well, there was a quick video on social media with Rob and Ryan, and they were basically talking about saving money on kits and stuff. So they were like half price on the website and stuff like that. But they basically said that like owning a football team is like burning money.
Yeah.
And that was Ryan who said that, and then Rob said, he said, see a big black hole, just throw your wallet in it.
Yeah.
That's basically what it is. So I get why it hasn't been done before. You do need the investment, and so we are lucky enough to have our owners.
It is like burning money, and it's something that I'm so glad that as owners they've fallen in love with the game and the club
and
the town.
Sorry, the city.
No, and I'm glad that they have, because football ownership is very much a project of love. It's not it is a business.
Oh yeah, 100%.
But it's never going to be your most profitable endeavour.
No.
So I am glad that's come about. Anyway,
moving on. So as you may or may not be aware, Andy suffered an injury in the Mansfield game. And it turns out, so he was obviously stretchered off and he looked in absolute agony. We were hoping it wasn't going to be anything serious, but it turns out Parky confirmed that he has actually ruptured his ACL.
In his knee. Yeah.
In his knee. And he undergoes surgery this week.
Yeah.
And, he's obviously not going to be in for the rest of the season, and possibly the start of next season. You just don't know, do you? Because it's like such a long recovery.
It's a strange one. So you're looking at 6 to 9 months, possibly as long as 12. It depends on... I think we've got a good infrastructure around the club now with rehabilitation and all that sort of thing.
Young as well.
Ish. in footballing terms, he's not young. So it's, but it's so it's. Yeah, it's fingers crossed. It's the lower end of that. I would, veer on the side of caution. I'd probably say it's probably
12 months,
9 to 12, probably.
Really sad.
Even the fittest of athletes, it's just such a long road back from something like that. Sometimes, fingers crossed, and I shouldn't really even be saying this out loud, but fingers crossed he comes back the same player, because sometimes.
Knocks your confidence.
It's not. It's you sometimes you don't go into tackles the same way. You don't. So it is a long road of building that sort of belief and confidence back up, that you can go into tackles and do things like that.
Be
So
okay, yeah.
yeah. So fingers crossed for Andy that it's not as long as we fear, and that he comes back stronger.
Well, he's okay, because Humphrey Kerr sent him a PlayStation 5, so.
Oh, I'm quite surprised he didn't have a PlayStation 5 as a
too.
footballer.
Yeah, me too. But yeah.
Well, it's probably
Maybe
on eBay. Maybe he has got one. He's just chucked Humphreys on eBay.
I'm sure Humphrey would have consulted him before. I think probably maybe he's got a PlayStation 4. Who knows? He's got a PlayStation 5 now.
What footballer's got a PlayStation 4?
Maybe he's got an Xbox.
I don't.
Anyway, let's stop naming computer consoles.
Yeah, go on. Anyway, there was another thing, just to move on to women's football for a little bit. There was 6,000 people at the racecourse for Wales women's 1-1 draw with Sweden in the Nations League last week, which was great to see. We as a community, we've been banging on about wanting international football back at Wrexham, and when we get it, it's nice to have football, and it's nice to have people actually buying tickets and going to games, and it was really nice to see.
I'd love to know how many Swedish fans were there.
Yeah, that'd be interesting.
That would be interesting.
I don't know. I don't even know if there was an away end as such. I don't know. But yeah, another thing on the women's game. So Wrexham women, actually, we talked about this a couple of weeks ago, where there was sort of like a showdown game in the league. It was Wrexham, who were 5th, against Swansea, who were 4th. Mm-hmm. It was sort of like a winner takes all. A draw didn't help Wrexham at all. It was a winner takes all, because basically the Adran Premier splits into 2 after this game. So it was the top 4. They sort of split, and they play for the championship, as it were. And then the bottom 4 split away, and they play in like a relegation battle. So it was basically between Wrexham and Swansea. Swansea were in the driving seat. They just needed a win or a draw. Wrexham,
just needed a win,
who were away, needed to win. Yeah. And absolutely fascinating game. It's on Scoria over here, which is a Welsh it's a Welsh football TV programme which has been around for absolutely donkey's years. Fun fact? Do you want a fun fact about Scoria? I'm not sure this is fun. I think it's a little bit cringe, but I've said it now, so I'm going to have to follow through with it.
I know where you're going with this.
Yeah, so I was in a band in school, and our teacher was, I'm going to say it, obsessed with the presenter of Scoria. Her name was Amanda. And he was
he a young teacher?
Youngish, yeah. He was, and so he was semi-obsessed with her. And he actually, I'll come on to him in a minute, but he wrote, and as a little band, he wrote a song for about her as the presenter. It sounds really creepy now I'm saying it out loud, but we actually went on a Welsh TV show and actually performed this song about the TV show Scoria. Oh my God, that sounds worse than I
What TV
thought.
programme was it?
Oh, can't remember now. I'll have to try. So my ex-teacher isn't a teacher anymore. No, that sounds bad. Hang on, let me rush through this story just to, he actually owns the Scythe Seren pub in Wrexham. So that's.
If he watches this, he's going to kill you. He's going to hunt you down. And
I know.
You.
So I have seen him once or twice, and but yeah, that's interesting. Is it interesting? I'm not sure.
It is for you.
I was a kid.
Look, I was a kid at the time, so I must have been.
He was 16.
Yeah, no, I was about 14 actually.
Joking.
But yeah, he was a grown man, so he is. I think it's all on him.
Anyway, back to
Actual football.
actual football.
So the playoff dates have been confirmed.
For us.
Well, we don't know yet, do we?
No, I mean for League One.
For League One.
In general, not just us.
Yeah, so the League One playoff dates have been confirmed. So this very much, we're just going to touch on it because it does very much depend where we finish as to when we are going to play. Because we might not even need the playoffs. Fingers crossed, we can dethrone Wycombe from second. We don't even need the playoffs. But it's worth mentioning the dates to people just in case. I've booked some time off work.
What have you booked off? Because I need to do it.
Yeah, I'll let you know about that in a minute. So the first leg of the playoffs is on Saturday the 10th of May. Sixth play third at 12:30 and fifth play fourth at 7:45.
So it's an away. If we say third, it's going to be an away game.
Yeah, because what happens is the teams who are higher get the advantage of playing the second leg
at home.
Right. Because then you've got all the momentum to.
Yeah.
So that's what way it goes, and then the second leg of the playoffs. So third then play sixth at 8:00 on Wednesday the 14th of May. And fourth play fifth at 8:00 on Thursday, the 15th of May. I've booked off the 14th, the 15th, and the 16th.
Okay.
Because I don't know where we're going to finish. If we were to drop down to fourth, for example, or to fifth, you don't know. So I've booked the 3 days off just to make sure we can go to both games comfortably, and then I'll cancel whatever days I don't need.
I've been off for a week, but tomorrow when I go back to work, I'm gonna.
Yeah, you're going to have to book that.
I'm going to have to book them off. So,
yeah, 100%. Yeah.
So if you'd like to support the show, you can do by buying us a coffee at the Buy Me a Coffee page. It's buymeacoffee.com/me-the-wife. We would like to thank a couple of people who have obviously bought us a coffee this week.
Yes.
Or last week, should I say. We have Matthew and Karen.
Yes.
I'm yet to meet Karen. You've obviously met Karen.
I have indeed.
At the Charlton game, was it?
No, I met Karen at the
Bristol Rovers
game.
It.
So she was over from LA.
She was, yes. And also Linda Pollis.
Polly's.
Oh, is it Polly's?
Yeah.
Oh, you got it right, didn't you?
Look, literally, you're gonna read this message.
I'm so sorry, Linda. Congrats on the subscriber numbers and a special extra thanks for the shout out to me. It was kind of you, and you got my last name correct. Oh, I'm so sorry.
Oh.
No one here in the US ever says it correctly. It's the little things. Well, I've just completely kiboshed that, haven't I?
You have a little bit.
So thank you all. It's really much appreciated. Oh, I'm so sorry, Linda.
Look, Fantasy EFL update. We're going to breeze through this because nothing's changed.
You never breeze through it.
Ben Parker is first, C. Williams second, and third is Ian Dougal.
Who's C. Williams? We don't know.
Who are you? Right.
Peterborough. Yes, I was there.
You were there.
I was there.
Just got a couple of comments to read out before we get into the Peterborough game. So Chaz got in touch, said, Siân, definitely do a live. You are great, and we all don't need Ryan butting in all the time. I'm sure he will correct us on next week's episode. Love you, Ryan. You're dead to me, Chaz. No, I'm only joking. Love you too. Rip that Band-Aid off, Siân. You'll do great. Paul Kelly said, pre-game live by Siân. Can't wait. Jennifer said, go on, Siân. We'd love to see you at half-time. Hopefully the team will inspire you to comment and we'll get to hear from you on Wednesday. Neil Walker also got in touch and said, if Siân wants to do it, take the lead on Wednesday. I'm sure she will be excellent. There's another one. David Taylor, love watching you two on Monday. Siân, need to do a live on the game. She's great. See you Saturday at the ground up the time. So I just thought I'd put them in. Because you've let everyone down, haven't you?
I have let you all down. I will tell you the reason why. On the way to the football on Wednesday, to the Peterborough game, I was walking past the library in Wrexham, and they've got big trees there. And I felt something plop on my head, and I thought it was just water. Didn't think anything of it. I asked my mum, who, may I just add, is as blind as that, Didn't see anything, but I was sitting watching the game, and bear in mind I'd walked all the way through the concourse and up to my seat and everything, and it turns out a bird had plopped in my hair. I was fuming. I was really upset. I messaged Ryan because he wasn't there, and I was really upset. So the last thing I wanted to do was do a live.
I'm just going to butt in, right, and I'm going to call you out on this on the show with everyone. So the point when you realised, when you had actual bird poo in your hair, was when the game had started. The pre-game live could have been done by then, couldn't it?
Yeah, but I never know what to say. The reason why I don't do it, the reason why I have to have Ryan with me is because sometimes I say stupid things. I do, and I don't want people calling me out. And I know people who watch us like week in, week out wouldn't do that because you're all amazing. But you might get the odd Peterborough fan or another fan coming on, and you don't care, but I care about what people think of me. And and I don't want them saying, "Oh my God, you're a woman. What do you know about football?" Granted, I don't know much about football, but what
Siân is doing here, she is making up potential abuse from other people that hasn't even happened to stop her from doing it. Look,
it has.
Look, you would have been great. You would have been great. You would have been fine, and all of our viewers would have been there to get you through it. They would have commented and they would have got you through.
And I love you all for that, and I'm sorry I let you down. I feel really bad now. Maybe I should do the one on Saturday.
Yes, I think so. I think you should take the lead on Saturday because I've always got a lot to say. And
don't we know it? Chaz knows it.
Chaz knows it. And take the lead. You take the lead,
right?
And I'll chip in with my 23 minutes worth of opinions.
When I start saying something stupid, just rip that phone out of my hand. Anyway.
I don't think you do say stupid things, though.
I do.
Maybe on occasions you might mispronounce something. But if ever you say anything, that it's not that it's wrong. It's just sometimes it's terminology, isn't it?
Yeah.
But we always have little we have little things where I go, oh, you say this, but it should be that, really. And then
Love's correcting me.
I don't know. I don't.
You do though.
But it's your terminology is, it gets better all the time. And yeah, definitely take the lead in it, everyone. Yeah. Do it.
Yeah, in it.
Yeah.
So Peterborough.
Yeah.
Wednesday night.
Yeah, I think you got Wednesday.
I did say Tuesday under my breath first, and then I went Wednesday.
Yeah. I think before the game, there was a definite bit of, what would you call it? Sort of like Wembley apathy, I think. In the sense of, I don't know how to put it really. A lot of people weren't that bothered about going to Wembley.
No.
We've been quite a few times in recent years. You should never scoff at getting to a final at Wembley.
Nope.
But I think the problem is the competition. If you get to the FA Cup final, which we're not going to do yet.
Absolutely not.
Yeah. League Cup final, not going to get to the final of that. So if it was one of them, there is no apathy. People are buying tickets and people are going. Playoffs, that as we've already discussed today, if we end up in the playoffs and we get to the playoff final, there's not going to be any Wembley apathy that people are going.
Yep.
And they're attending that game and there's no I don't really want to go to Wembley, I'm not really that bothered. But for this competition, there was definite Wembley apathy. And there will be fans everywhere going, oh my God, how spoilt are they? I can't believe you don't want to go and watch your team at Wembley. It's not that we wouldn't have gone. We 100% wouldn't have gone. But this is where the weird feeling I was...
You just said 100% we wouldn't have gone.
Would have gone.
You said wouldn't.
We would have gone. And that's where... But the weird feeling I was talking about earlier, that's where this comes in. Because on Wednesday night, I was... so I couldn't go to the game because of work. But I actually got home in time to sort of watch the game, which is weird because they swapped my hours sort of last minute. But anyway, Siân had to go without me. So at 2-0 up...
I didn't have to.
But you
I
did.
was going to
but
anyway.
You did, yeah.
I did.
At 2-0 up, I was sort of going, oh God, God, right, okay, so we've got to buy tickets. Are we getting a hotel? Are we not getting a hotel? Need someone to sort the dog because we're, you know. And then it's okay, so while we got drive there. Last time we went to Wembley, we parked in Watford and then we got the trains.
Which I loved.
Yeah, we're going to have to get train tickets. And then the time before that, me and my dad went and we parked in Ealing and then got the tube. And this
So you went on the bus at one point?
No. Never went to the bus. You know, so then you start thinking about all this stuff, right? How much is that going to cost? How much is this going to cost? And before you know it, it's 2 all. And then you're going, oh, actually, that's... And it sort of felt like a little bit of a weight of where's, you know, I've got to pay for this, got to pay for that, got to pay for this. And then all of a sudden that was lifted and we didn't have to do that anymore. So I think that's where perhaps knowing that potentially you've got a much more important potential Wembley trip later in the season to come.
I'd rather go for
maybe that's where the apathy comes. We're quite lucky as a family when it comes to money. You know, we can afford to do a lot more stuff than some other people perhaps can. You know, but you know, so we would have gone to both if we would have got to the final. There are people out there who potentially couldn't have afforded to go to both games, you know, down to London, all that sort of stuff. So, I don't know. It was a very strange sort of, you know, they were the staunch, we're getting to you know, we're going to a cup final. You know, why are people not bothered? And, you know, and there was them, and there was on the flip side of it, people going, yeah. So, you know, if we get there, we get there, and if we don't, we don't, you know.
Our good friend of the show, Lee Baines,
yes,
he put a comment on X, and I thought it was hilarious, personally. But there was a lot of people who were, like, you know, annoyed. Basically, he said something along the lines of the new information or something on from Martin Lewis. I can't remember. I'm going to have to find it because it was really funny.
I think he said, did he say Arthur Okonkwo was going to be a guest on Martin Lewis because he's managed to save 20,000 Wrexham fans £1,000?
Let's have a look.
I'm pretty sure that's what he
said.
said.
And on this week's episode of the Martin Lewis Show Live, Martin speaks with Mr. Okonkwo, a heroic man who saved over 20,000 people around £1,000 each. And some of the comments that were coming up from that were like, you know, and it was a joke, everybody. It was a joke. I thought it was funny.
I think where he maybe's getting the abuse is it sort of sounded like he was pinning it on Arthur. That Arthur's the reason that we'd lost the game.
No.
Yeah, but that's how it comes across, isn't it?
It was all tongue in cheek, and I thought it was funny, Lee. So yeah, but maybe we've got the same sense of humour, and anyway.
I think I wanted them to do it for the players because it's always, you know, it's the pinnacle of a player's career, isn't it? To play at Wembley, I think, or play in the Premier League or Champions League, whatever it might be. But for players at this level, playing at Wembley is the dream. Yep. So I wanted them to do it, and I think none more so than Harry Ashfield.
Oh yeah,
who's been superb in the competition this year, and he's been starting games. If we were to get to the final, he would have started that game. Let's not beat around the bush. It wouldn't be, is he going to play? Is he not? He would have started that game. So I felt really bad for him that he didn't get to experience that. I'm sure he will get to during his career. But, you know, it would have been really nice for him to start at Wembley, hometown club, all that sort of stuff. I think, you know, it would have been great for him. Park had said, Ashy, what a great performance from him. We wanted to see if he could handle the first division environment, and he did. So yeah, I thought he'd been fantastic, you know, in the competition. A lot of people calling for him to be a bit more involved in the first team, you know, which... Yeah,
I mean, I think I was one. You know, at least maybe if we get to a point where we know we're going to be automatically promoted... If we get to that point this season,
won't, but yeah, go on.
Then maybe, you know, the last game, or even if we think, actually, there's no way that we're going to, maybe on the last game of the season.
But if there's no way that we're going to, we're still fighting to secure our playoff
spot.
of course we are, yes.
So that's not going to be. Wickham aren't going to drop off so badly.
I think he's held his own, though.
He has, he has absolutely. And like I said, I was more gutted for him, really, that he wasn't going to get to sort of walk out with his hometown club at Wembley, and play there. I thought,
But like you said, there's he's really young, and he's there's going to be ample opportunity for him to.
Hopefully there is. Yeah.
And I think he's definitely somebody. It's like Max, as he was kind of coming up the ranks, and look at him now. He's like he's our highest goal scorer of the season so far, isn't he? I think so. I believe so. I might have to fact check that.
Yeah.
But I'm sure that's what I read somewhere.
Wow. I suppose technically Sam Smith is, but for goals actually scored for Wrexham, then it's Max, isn't it?
Yeah. And I think Parky sort of, because Max Cleworth didn't play that. He played quite a few games in the National League, but he didn't play every single game up until a point where he did because he had to for injury reasons.
Yeah, I think the thing that really helped Max out was Aaron Hayden getting injured. Because that's the reason Max played. And looking at Max now, everyone sort of goes, oh yeah, but he definitely would have got into the team. You really don't know.
You don't.
Because if Aaron had been fit constantly all the time, at what point would he have got into that team? If Aaron Hayden was still with us now because he was always fit, Max potentially could be. We might not even know who Max was. So it is strange that Max.
The circumstances.
Yeah, Max got his opportunity because of like an injury.
Yeah.
And he grabbed it with both hands and he ran with it. But we could, like I say, be sitting here now and
Harry Ashfield could be the.
He could be, and you just don't know. But I think we're so overstocked for players now. I think it's going to be very difficult for someone like Harry Ashfield to get a break in this Wrexham team.
Sadly.
I think so. And as much as everyone's going, brilliant prospect for the future, yeah, I'm sure he is. But perhaps our stature in EFL might get away from him a little bit. If we were still in National League now and he was coming through, you'd sort of fancy him to be getting a little bit of game time. We're staring down the barrel of potentially being in the Championship next season. How much of an opportunity is he going to get in a team in the Championship, surrounded by a load of players who are on 15, 20, 25 grand a week at that level, you know what I mean? So it's, I don't know. Look, nice goal from Mo.
Oh, it was brilliant.
Great goal.
It was absolutely superb, and I was really happy for him. I've been a bit undecided about Mo Farl. I think he's definitely got potential. Yeah. But when he scored that goal on Wednesday, I was just like, oh my god! It was just amazing.
He doesn't look like a sulker, Mo, as well, because he's come to the club. He's not getting a lot of game time. But he always looks like the sort of player who's got a smile on his face, and when he does play and he scores, he's beaming, and I don't think he's a sulker.
There has been rumours that when he first got signed, he was like, he wasn't getting game time at all. Yeah. Even in like cup games and stuff like that. And I think he had it out with Parky. Yeah. He was like, you've brought me in to play games. Yeah. I want to play games. Yeah.
But that, I think situations like that are good sometimes to clear the air, because like I say, he always looks happy to me.
He does.
He always got a smile on his face,
especially on Wednesday when he scored that goal.
And I think maybe that scenario is maybe a little bit more on Parky than it is on Mo, potentially. Of you're bringing him in, you sit him down, you go, you're not playing. You've got to prove yourself to me. You've got a couple of months to do that. But maybe that hasn't happened. I don't know. It's impossible to say.
We all know that Mo is the project striker, isn't he? He's like,
he is,
there's a, but like we've said in previous podcast episodes, how long is the project going to go on for? But I think, he has proved himself, I think, in a couple of cup games, I mean, yes, he's made mistakes, but so have people who were playing in the first team week in, week out.
I'm very,
so you can't, like...
I'm very undecided on Mo at the
Yeah,
moment.
I mean, after Wednesday, I was quite like, oh my God, he's just... I mean, for goals, that's goal... Yeah, I was just like...
I think he shows flashes of stuff.
Yes.
But there's just no consistency.
No.
And
he's all legs, isn't he?
Yeah, a little
he's
bit.
Honestly, he's like a deer or a giraffe.
Yeah, it is. I like I say, I get flashes of stuff and go, "Ooh, there's a player there." And then 2 minutes later, someone pings a ball into him and it bounces off him like he's got triangle feet. And it's just so I don't know. It's just yeah. We'll wait and see. We'll wait and see.
Yeah, it is definitely a wait and see sort of scenario with him.
Dobbo got his first goal.
Oh, I love Dobbo
for the club.
I'm loving his hair.
Yeah, he's just trying to get into the Stephen Fletcher and Jay Rodriguez
I said
bracket,
to you at the Saturday game, didn't I? I said, how many more players can we get
with that
with that hairstyle? So we've got George Dobson, Stephen Fletcher, and Jay Rodriguez.
Yeah.
And I thought,
get a couple more.
Let's get a couple more. Yeah.
Why not? And then we were sort of cruising. Typical Wrexham took our foot off the gas. And the "We're Going to Wembley" songs were coming out.
Cringy.
I know. And then obviously we give a penalty away.
That was a stupid penalty to give away.
The lad missed it. Arthur sort of palmed it back into his path a little bit, and he scored.
Yeah. I said to you there was nobody really there to sort of interject between.
Yeah, but the lad is already like a good 6 yards in front of everybody else behind him. So one of them, and then horrible defending for their equaliser. Oh, it was horrible. We had so many opportunities to get rid of the ball. Didn't. They equalised 92nd minute. I was watching it with our son. And he said, "Is it extra time?" And I went, "I don't know. I don't think it goes straight to penalties."
Yeah.
It did. And I just knew we'd lost at that point. I knew because, we had a penalty shootout at Port Vale and we were horrible at that as well. We missed 3 there.
That was lucky. That was a nothing game though, wasn't it?
It was. Mullin walking up. And
shoulders down.
Shoulders down. He looked dejected. I turned to my lad and I said, "He's missed." Before he'd even put the ball down, I went, "He's missed this." And he did. There was no confidence in it. Remember when he used to blast them penalties about 120 miles an hour right down the middle, and the keeper, even if he knew where it was going, couldn't stop it. It was such a tame, lack of confidence penalty. And, that got saved. The same lad who missed the penalty but then scored the follow-up for Peterborough, he missed again. So maybe they should put someone else on penalties, I'd suggest. But then Elliot Lee missed as well. Yeah,
the 2 people that you'd think would score
didn't. Lee. So if, Mullin was always on penalties. If Mullin ever wasn't there for some reason, Elliot Lee was taking them. And they both missed. Fletcher scored. When Mendy...
Maybe Parky told him to.
Yeah, maybe. Oh! Tinfoil hats on. Conspiracy theory. We're not lads. We haven't got time for Wembley.
We've got
more important things. Miss them penalties.
Yeah.
When Mendy was walking up to take one, what did you think? Honestly, I know it's horrible, isn't it? It's really bad. I saw
Fletcher. I knew he'd score.
I knew Fletcher'd score. But Mendy was walking up, and I went, "Oh,
he looks up
Mendy."
for it.
I thought Mendy taking a penalty. I was like, "Oh God, I don't know." And then he tucked it away really nice, to be fair.
Yeah.
Look, Peterborough will play Birmingham in the final. That is on the 13th of April, I think.
Come on, Birmingham!
I don't want any of them to win.
Oh, if anybody, I don't want Peterborough to win because they were horrible. They when they got their goal, they celebrated in front of our fans, and I just find that in such poor taste.
Yeah, we do that though.
No, I don't think we do it very often.
We do it,
but
though.
No, but they were so arrogant, and it just really wound me up. So I'm gonna be a Birmingham fan for that day.
Oh, okay. So,
any other time?
Yeah.
No.
They did a video, didn't they, where they were doing "Bye Bye Bye" by NSYNC. Have you seen that video?
No.
Yeah, they were doing that. "Bye Bye Wrexham."
Who did that?
The players. When the
Peterborough
hotel,
players?
Yeah, in the hotel.
Right, that's just yeah.
Yeah, I wasn't that bothered. Anyway, let's move on. Bolton.
Brunt drops out out of the squad.
Don't know what's going on there at the moment.
I put him in my lineup, so I was a bit like, obviously O'Connor in. O'Connell, so obviously, as we know, McLean was out for the Mansfield game.
Yeah, you struggle remembering the Mansfield game.
There's so many. So he was out for the Mansfield game due to a hip problem. So he wasn't even on the bench that game. But for the game on Saturday against Bolton, O'Connell took the captain's armband, and McLean was on the bench.
Yeah, he was.
Which I thought, because obviously Ravon was in. Ravon, sorry. Seb was obviously in for McLean at the Mansfield game.
Glad he kept his place because I thought he was excellent against Mansfield.
And he was. And I thought, do you know what? At the Bolton game, I thought we were talking about when they were starting to bring subs on. I thought there is no real need. I mean, any of the subs that they brought on, there wasn't any need really. But anyway,
I'll talk about that in a bit.
Yeah,
because I think there is, but. Yeah.
Anyway, for like fresh legs and stuff. But so I didn't think that there was any point taking Seb off to bring McLean in, because I thought Seb was kind of holding his own. He was doing what he should be doing. He was always. The thing that did annoy me was the fact that when the ball was on the other side of the pitch and we were shooting towards the tech end, he was on our side. And he was free quite a lot. There was no players around him.
You do go on about this quite a lot, but what
I do.
What I've noticed is I think you think some of our players are machines at times, because you're always saying to me, Seb's free. It's like a 40-yard diagonal pass to get it to him. They're not Steven Gerrard.
No, I know, but they should be, passing to somebody who's a little bit. Yeah. Anyway.
Look, the reason.
See, this is why I don't do lives, everybody. No, this is why.
The reason the player on the far side is always free is because no one is hitting a 50-yard diag. Okay, right? They're not. But when you shift it, everyone on the pitch shifts as well, and then they're not open. So that's, if we had Trent Alexander-Arnold at right back, I'm with you all day long. Hit that 40, 50-yarder, and then you've got him. But I think we don't have the players who are going to hit them sort of balls, unfortunately, at the moment. One day. Maybe. Who knows?
So Ryan Longman was in instead of Barney, which I quite like Longman. I think he's really good. Obviously, Barney will always have my heart because he's my OG. But I think Longman's. I don't know. I think he's just a little bit.
Do you? You think Longman's better than Barney?
I don't necessarily think he's better. But I think they are very similar players. Why are you looking at me like that?
I'm just interested.
I just feel like Longman kind of, like, Barnett's got his moves and stuff like that. He's got his little ball skills that he does, and he does that every single time he gets the ball. Which is great. But I think Longman is very much like some of the things he did on Saturday. There was an occasion where he had the ball, it got taken from him from a Bolton player, can't remember who it was, but then all of a sudden he did this little move and he got the ball back. And I don't know, I don't think I could have seen that from Barney. I'm
not sure. I'm not saying you're wrong. I don't know who I prefer. I really like Longman on Saturday. I thought he was very good. Do I prefer him to Barney? I'm not sure, really. But you're talking about the league leader in assists in Barney.
Yeah, but Longman has another chance to be like that.
I'm not saying he has, but it's very difficult to take the league leader in assists out of a team, I think.
Oh, it happened.
Yeah, I think what I could see happening is Barney and Longman. So Longman on the left and Barney on the right. Longman's obviously very used to playing on the left. That's where he played for Hull. So I think I'd like to see both of them to see how that worked, if I'm completely honest. But yeah, I don't know. It was interesting. I didn't think you'd be that into Longman. As
Maybe because his name's Ryan.
Maybe.
And I love a Ryan.
Maybe. I think we're very much a 3-5-1-1 at the moment. So we have sort of we're not really 3-5-2. Jay sort of plays in behind Sam a little bit. I think a lot of people are struggling to see what Jay's bringing to the team at the moment.
I thought he was better on Saturday.
You
said to me he looks up for it today. You said that the last game that we played in Mansfield, a league game, I mean.
No, it was the last home game.
Was it?
I think it was the Leyton Orient game. He just didn't seem interested.
Yeah.
But on Saturday, he looked up for it.
Yeah, I genuinely thought he was going to score on Saturday.
Yeah.
I thought he was going to get his first goal for the club. But...
Yeah, I think that give him a bit more time. I'm not exactly enamoured with him at the moment. I don't think he's... I wouldn't say, how have we lived without him at the moment. But give him a bit more time and let's see how we go. He is 35, so he hasn't got that much time left. But yeah, let's see how we get on. But he seemed all right. Look, I did discuss in our sort of pre-game show. I felt the game was really important for sort of 4 reasons on Saturday. I think losing 2 home league games in a row, it was important to put that right. We'd lost 3 out of 4 at home. So that was important. Second thing is trying to derail Bolton's sort of playoff push. If we can keep beating the teams underneath the playoffs, taking points off them and stretching ours, then it just makes our playoff spot, a bit more solidified, I suppose you'd call it. Wycombe were obviously playing at the same time. We very heavily fancied Birmingham to win that game. So
yeah, it was a no-brainer with them, wasn't it?
So we thought, if Wycombe can lose and we can win, that puts us level on points. And I think the fourth reason was very much trying to silence any sort of Parky doubters.
I still don't understand why there are doubters
Yeah,
there.
I do and I don't, because I think tactically we are struggling a little bit at times. But yeah, so I think it would have been good. It was a decent performance, so I think it was good to sort of silence a few people down. I felt on Saturday that we dodged a bullet with McAtee a little bit, because he didn't really do anything, did he? Got booed every time he got the ball. For anybody who doesn't know, he was actually so John McAtee was coming to Wrexham, and at the last minute, that was in the summer, I think.
It definitely
it was in the summer.
Yeah,
it was in the summer. And the last minute, Bolton sort of hijacked the deal, and he ended up going to Bolton. So he got booed every time he got the ball.
I wasn't that when he went off as well. They were chanting, "Not worth us." What was it? What's the chant?
Not worth the money.
Not worth the money, or something like that. So I thought he was quite arrogant, to be honest.
Yeah, I like a bit of arrogance in a footballer.
Yeah, well, I don't.
Yeah, well, I don't. Look, he's just not as good as his brother, is he? So,
the fact
just needs to deal with that, doesn't he?
The fact that he's in League One and his brother's plays for a Premier League team, Man City, I think that kind of...
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. What did you make of the game as a whole?
I actually thought I was disappointed that we didn't come away with 3 points. I think we deserved the 3 points. I think Bolton held their own. I thought that it was a good game of football to watch on Saturday. We've so many weeks we've gone, and it's like, oh, for God's sake. I said to you, didn't I? I said, it's weird, isn't it? I said, we play, I think it was you. I said, we play so crap, but we always seem to come away with the 3 points.
Yeah.
I said, and today we're playing amazingly. We're playing, we're passing the ball and not doing all these hoof balls and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
It's actually a great game, but we only came away with 1 point. It's like, it's really unfair. But I mean, that's just
it is frustrating, because you're not wrong. There's games this season where we haven't deserved to win, and we've come away winning. And then on Saturday, you sort of felt like, I think both sets of fans could make an argument for we should have won that.
Yeah.
They at the bar. They had Arthur made an amazing save late on. I think about the 89th minute.
That was stressful.
Yeah, but on the flip side,
Tommy probably had our best chance of the game. He was 6 yards out and he managed to put it over the bar. That was a proper head-in-hand moment.
He was gutted about that. And you were like, yeah, so he should.
He should be, though. He should be. As a professional footballer in League One, 6 yards out, I know, it's probably more difficult to put it over the bar than it was to put in. So, yeah, I was gutted for him, though. Rathbone put one over. And then Tommy had that free kick right at the end.
Oh, we thought that was it, didn't we?
He curled it round the wall, and I was like, oh. I think the weird decision during the game, which you sort of touched on, was Longman was man of the match.
He was. I voted for him.
Rightly so, I think. I think probably
good.
Correct decision.
Yeah.
He came off after about 70 minutes. Which everyone thought was a little bit weird. But I think in the cold light of day, when you sort of think about it, there was a game Saturday, we've got a game Tuesday, game Saturday, game Tuesday, game Saturday. So there's a lot of football to be played. And I know he was the best player on the pitch for us.
You want to keep that momentum going.
Bit of freshness. I can't see Revon playing Tuesday. I think that's when McLean comes back in. Maybe get Revon back on the Saturday, and I think we're going to see a little bit of rotation over these next couple of weeks because we've got games coming thick and fast now. Hence why in literally 2 weeks we're going to be in single figures, because the games are coming quite thick and fast. David said had to make the subs, have a game Tuesday. Parky is playing the schedule and the game. O'Connor missing the we can't talk about that anymore. Bruce said Longman's sub was a fresh leg sub, not a tactical sub. He worked very hard and getting into the wing back role, but he was getting a bit leggy at that point. So perhaps I think there's a lot of football in a short period of time, and I was sort of with you. Why take him off? Because he's our most dangerous. But I think you've got to look at the bigger picture a little bit sometimes and go, look, let's take a point from this and let's push on.
Yeah.
I would have fancied being a bit more aggressive, on Saturday. Because I felt we had them at one point.
Yeah.
I think we definitely had them. And I would have fancied going 4 at the back. If we'd have conceded because of that, Parky would have got shot. Do you know what I mean?
He can't win, can he?
But I did fancy going a little bit more aggressive, taking perhaps taking Tommy off, going 4 at the back, and chucking on another striker, having Jay sitting in behind, or taking Jay off and putting Elliot on just behind, and then having 2 strikers in front of it, something like that, where you're sort of playing 3 up front, and then you got your sort of wing backs attacking a little bit. I think I'd have been on Phil's side to do that on Saturday, but he didn't want to for whatever reason. He wanted to play a bit more conservatively, and that's fine. 2 games against Bolton this season, 180 minutes, 0 goals. 0-0 and 0-0. Yeah. So potential playoff opponents as well, because they are just outside the playoffs at the moment. I'm not sure I'd fancy playing them in the playoffs, if I'm completely honest. But one of our better performances.
It was. Sydney said, thought we were really positive throughout. Nice to see our wing-backs constantly so high up the pitch. O'Connell was pretty dominant today. We missed 4 or 5 good chances, but overall we were pretty good. Todd Cross, disappointed yet relieved at the same time. If only Tommy had put it away.
Yeah, Lee Baines, happy with the performance against a good team, but frustrated/disappointed that we couldn't finish our attempts on goal. It was Brill hearing the Stōk Cae Ras alive, though. I said that to you.
You mentioned that, yeah.
I said, when we in that second half, when we were really pushing, I said, have you noticed the change in atmosphere here? And I said, the crowd will always back the team if the team give us something to shout about. And they did in that second half, and we completely backed them.
We did.
Rick said solid team effort today, but could not finish several chances to score and take the lead. Need some more scoring to earn promotion.
Bruce McFarlane, good defensive display. Wrexham diffused most threats before they became chances and dealt with a few serious chances they were created. Good to see progressive passing in attack and the chances created. Bad luck, the ones that fell to defenders came to Tom O'Connor and Owen O'Connell.
Yeah, Owen O'Connell had one, didn't he, at the back post, and he just couldn't sort his feet out, and it just sort of squirmed wide. But yeah, look, a good point, but slightly disappointed.
Yeah.
I think that was the general consensus among most.
At least
Wrexham
we didn't
fans.
lose.
Yeah. Look, if you do want to get in touch with the show, you can comment on this video, or you can, if you're listening as a podcast, in the description, you can contact the show. You can also get in touch on Blue Sky, X, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Threads, or email us at me, the wife, and wrexhamafc@gmail.com.
So, Saturday roundup. None of the top 6 won on Saturday.
No, that's from last week. Sorry, I forgot to take that out. Ignore that. Move on to the next note. I do apologise, Siân.
You do that on purpose.
Honestly, I don't.
Right, Wycombe lost 1-0 to Birmingham, which was good for us. Stockport beat Blackpool 2-1. Huddersfield won 2-1 away at Stevenage. Charlton move into 6th after beating Leyton Orient 2-1. Lee Ryan from Blue put a post on about Charlton winning. He's a Charlton supporter.
Fascinating.
It was quite fascinating. I was like, oh my God. Anyway, we stay third. Lee Ryan is a member of a band. It is Blue, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, it's very boring.
We stay third, 2 points behind Wycombe, who we play away on the 15th of March. Hopefully it'll be a game like it was on the first day of the season. That'd be nice. And 2 points ahead of Stockport in 4th, who we play on the 22nd of March at home. I'm excited for this game.
Yeah, March is a big month.
It is a big month.
We are playing teams like Huddersfield, Stockport. There's big games in March, and I think March is basically going to make or break our season for us.
No, which is so annoying. So Huddersfield, it's the 34th league game of the season. It's on Tuesday, the 4th of March. Kickoff is at 7:45 UK time. Away at the Kirklees Stadium, which is known as the John Smiths Stadium. They have a capacity of 24,121.
Fun fact.
Okay.
The John Smith Stadium was designed by Populous, who have designed our Kop.
So we have been allocated 2,336 tickets for the away game. It's about 80 miles away, which is about 2 hours from ground to ground. And they play in blue and white stripes. Their away shirt is navy, third shirt is red.
Yeah, last league game was a 0-0 draw at the Stōk Cae Ras on the 22nd of October. Top scorers, Ben Wiles, I think Callum Marshall's the top scorer now because he scored on the weekend. He's got 8 this season. But Ben Wiles, Josh Caroma, they do spread the goals around, to be perfectly honest. They won 2-1 away at Stevenage on Saturday. They're 5th on 58 points. They've won 17, drawn 7 and lost 10 this season. They've only won 1 of their last 3 and 3 of their last 10. Yeah, I just don't think you know what you're going to get with Huddersfield.
You watch on
They're
Tuesday.
all over the place. And for the results they've had recently, I am really surprised that they're still where they are in the league.
Yeah.
So I've only won 3 of their last 10 in the league, but they're still 5th. It's odd, really, I think. It does baffle me. Prediction.
1-0.
Ooh, gone dirty 1-0. I'll go 2-0. 2-0 Wrexham, I think, for me. So our other game this week is on Saturday, and that's our 35th league game of the season. Saturday, the 8th of March at 3 p.m. It's a home game. They play in red with white sleeves.
They won't be doing that on Saturday, though.
They won't. Their away shirt is blue and their third shirt is an luminous yellow. Last league game was a 1-0 away win on the 19th of October. We actually talked about that last week, didn't we? Where Mullin scored really early. We had to hold on to it. Wasn't the best weekend, that was. We stayed over in Rotherham. in an absolute horrible hotel. Do you remember?
Was that where it was?
Yeah, it was.
Yes, that wasn't the best.
No. They won 3-2 away at Bristol Rovers on Saturday. The only league game they have won in their last 6. They're 17 points out of a possible 36 in 2025. You think, oh, that sounds poor. We've only got 14 out of a possible 30 in 2025. So they're 14th in League One. They've won 11, drawn 8 and lost 14.
Predictions. You go first. I've already written mine down, but I'm going to say what you see first.
3-0.
Oh, I've gone 3-1.
Have you?
Yeah.
Oh.
That's going to be exciting.
Yeah, I fancy... Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, come on. Quick shout out for Dragon Chat. So it's a mental health peer support group. They run 2 weekly Zoom calls. One is on Monday at 8 p.m. and that is for women. The other one is on Thursday at 7 p.m. and that's for men. If you want to find out how to get on that, you can go in the description of this episode on YouTube, and all the details of how to get on them calls are there. Alternatively, go to the Wrexham AFC website, go to the community tab, and then scroll to the health tab, and you will find Dragon Chat in there. You can also follow them on social media. They are at Dragon Chat WXMFC on X, or at dragonchat.bsky.social on Blue Sky. Are you ready for the quiz? Mm-hmm. Don't touch my iPad. How dare you? Okay. So, people really liked last week's quiz.
I can't remember it.
So I'm just rehashing it.
Because I didn't, obviously.
No, it's which is higher.
Oh, okay.
I'm going to read out 2 things, number associated with both. You have to tell me which one is higher. Okay? Mm-hmm. Happy?
Yep.
You don't sound happy, I've got to be honest. But yeah. Okay, number 1. Mm-hmm. The number of shots we had on target against Bolton on Saturday, or Owen O'Connell's goals for Wrexham. Not just this season, in his career.
Read that again, sorry.
Yeah, so the number of shots we had on target against Bolton, or Owen O'Connell's goals for Wrexham.
The first one is higher.
The number of shots on target.
But
So
we didn't have any shots on target.
Number of shots
did
on
we?
target, we had 1. Owen O'Connell scored 2 goals for Wrexham, so it was the Owen O'Connell goals. Number 2, points we have away from home this season, or Seb Revon's number.
Seb Revon's number.
Correct. So we've got points away from home this season is 22, and Seb is 23. So I've kept them quite tight.
Yeah.
Number 3, Ollie Rathbone's age,
Okay.
or George Dobson's age.
Ollie Rathbone's age.
Correct. Ollie is 28 and George is 27. Number 4, headed goals this season, or minutes Sam Dalby has played for Wrexham this season.
Headed.
Incorrect. So we've got 13 headed
I was
goals.
going to say Sam Dalby, but I thought...
Sam has played 15 minutes for us this season in the opening game of the season before he went off to Dundee United. Number 5. Is it days until the last game of the season, or points we have in League One?
Days until the last game of the season.
That's incorrect as well. So it's 61 days until the last game of the season. We currently have 62 points in the league. So, yeah, sorry. You got 1,
2.
2. Yes, you did get 2. 2 out of 5. Seems to be your sweet spot at the moment, 2 out of 5, doesn't it?
Yeah.
You had, it's so weird how the quiz works, because you were sort of like 3 out of 5, 3 out of 5, 4 out of 5. And then you touched on the 5 out of 5, and then you've just been a consistent 2 out of 5 ever since.
Well, I didn't get any after I got 5 out of 5.
Didn't you?
No.
Oh, God. Yeah, so it's the champion's curse, shall we call it? Yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
I've enjoyed it this week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I always enjoy it. Got a bit of a sore throat though.
Yeah, Siân's got the sniffle. I've got
I haven't got the sniffles.
I've got the sniffles. I can feel it when I'm
Do you
talking.
know what? I can't have anything. I cannot have anything without him saying, "Oh, I've got this." Oh.
She can get lost here because she's the same. I'll come home. I obviously had a back injury. I was off work for a while, and then every now and again my back's sort of a little bit sore, and I'll come home from work and I'll be sitting there, and I'll be going, "Oh, do you know what? My back's a little bit sore today," and she goes, "Let me tell you about my hip."
No, I say, you were complaining about your knee, and I said, are you waiting for a knee replacement?
Oh yeah, I know.
And I was
completely belittled my knee problem.
Like, no, I'm waiting for a hip replacement. So come back to me when you're waiting for a knee replacement and tell me what pain is, fella.
Marriage, eh? It's
I love him.
rules of engagement.
I love him, really.
Yeah, I know. I love you too.
You can't wait to look after me when I've had my hip done. It's going to be a fun little...
Yeah, I think I'm going to go on holiday.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, thanks very much for joining us again this week. We hope you've enjoyed it as much as we have. We would do it if no one watched.
Yeah,
Just
we would.
because we do quite enjoy doing it. But we are very grateful that people do watch.
We do.
So, yeah, look, join us again on Saturday for our pre-game as we're walking to the ground. Please get involved. Ask us questions. So the game kicks off at 3 o'clock. We'll be doing that at about 1:45-ish. So get onto YouTube ready and we'll be there. Just send us questions and we'll try and interact as much as we can. We're also obviously doing a full time for the Rotherham game as well.
Yep.
So as we are leaving the ground straight after kickoff, we'll be doing that. If you don't...
Straight after kickoff?
Straight after the final whistle. No, so we're not leaving straight after kickoff. Obviously join us next Monday as well for the podcast at 6 p.m. So thank you very much.
See ya.
Bye.